I'm gonna try to make this short and sweet, but no promises. Um, in the consciousness or woke spaces, whatever may have you, I see a lot of people taking, I'll say offense for lack of better terms. I see people having a gripe about capitalism, right? And there is this connotation that capitalism is inherently racist, and I'm just not there with it personally. I just don't believe that because an idea, especially when you're talking about economics, um, no, I don't believe that because simply when you study capitalism versus the other economic systems, let's just say communism, you'll understand that capitalism is the closest economic model to nature. You see what I'm saying? Supply and demand, give and take, free market, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like price discovery and all that shit. Like all that shit is really ingratiated in nature. You see what I'm saying? You don't really have to go too far to understand economics. You just kind of just look at how things ebb and flow. And you'll really understand that when it comes to economics, if it doesn't closely resemble nature, then it's probably fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, I just, I just don't believe that. And not only that, you can kind of see that for yourself. Like I understand when people get confused off of because we're supposed to be in a capitalist country and things like that, but this is not a it's not a capitalist country. This is this is not anymore, and it hasn't been for shit at least since the 60s. Um, at least since the 60s, since the 60s, 70s, because we have a central bank. First of all, we have a central bank. Second of all, our politicians and politics is too involved into the markets, so that's not a free market, which fucks up supply and demand because then you have a fucked up price discovery mechanism. What we have now in the West, quote unquote, is more so a socialistic form of capitalism, which is why China, communist China, has a fucking capitalist way of going about their socialism. You see what I'm saying? So you can't have socialism without capitalism. You can't have communism without there having have been capital first. Because communism is about sharing wealth. But if you don't got no motherfucking wealth, if you ain't got shit, then you can't share it. You see what I'm saying? So you have to gain something. And what's the best way to gain something? Capitalism. Now, is capitalism destructive? I don't necessarily. I think capitalism is what you make it. Kind of like capitalism in the sense of nature. Everything responds to how well it does. So if something does well, then it's going to continue. If it doesn't, then it won't, right? So if you, let's just say, cutting down trees, for example, or using oil, pulling oil out of the ground, so on and so forth. Let's just say any of those things you don't agree with, but it's still being done. If you stop if you stop buying from the motherfuckers that do the shit that you don't like, eventually they're not gonna be able to do it anymore. You see what I'm saying? It's a very, we can even take slavery into example, right? Slavery, when they had when slavery, was rampant in the South and in this country, you had the idea that slavery was becoming extinct, right? Because it wasn't economically effective, right? Which is true. And if you kind of leave things, this is a double sided argument, but if you kind of leave things to their own, then anything that doesn't work just will die the fuck out. You see what I'm saying? So you don't really gotta fucking regulate capitalism. You know what I'm saying? Like it'll do that. The people that are in a capitalist system will regulate the capitalism because they're in it. You see what I'm saying? Um, because I think that having the mindset that capitalism is evil in and of its nature is counterproductive, because there is no way, like if you didn't have the word but you had the economic system work as it does, would it still be racist? Is it racist because of the name or because of how it functions? Obviously, because of how it functions. So if it's racist because of how it functions, is there a way to not have it function this way? And there is. You see what I'm saying? You have the powers that be. You have the people that are in control making it so, making shit the way it is. But if you, but like, let's just say if black people were to create our own society and secede from this union, goddamn, then we could definitely have our own, and we could definitely have our own economy. And would capitalism be racist then? Because there's only so many economic models. You see what I'm saying? If we all just was to leave it to what people do, you see what I'm saying? Then that would become capitalism. You just wouldn't put it. You can just not put a name to it. But if you're talking about the invisible hand, supply and demand, price discovery, so on and so forth, nigga, that's capitalism. And capitalism and nature go hand in hand, in my opinion.